Welcome back, everybody. My producer told me, Kevin, somebody sent us a note saying you don't want to live next to colored folks. I happen to be a colored folk, but I don't have a problem living next to colored folks. I love colored people, and I love them when they take care of their stuff. I talk about a neighbor I grew up with on Hay Street, the man next door. I think he was Army. The neatest yard and the neatest house and one of the best guys. That man's smile, he had a real pretty teeth, and he'd be out doing his yard, and he'd see me and he'd smile and he'd say, "Hey, how you doing, Kevin? Hey, how you doing?" I don't remember his name, but Mr. So-and-so, and just a great disposition and a great guy. I'd live next to that guy anywhere he moved. Okay. And then my neighbor across the street, I wouldn't live next to them if you put a gun to my head. So, but I don't mind living next to colored folks. What I mind is living next to people who don't take care of their stuff. And by the way, that transcends color. There's some white trash people, some brown trash, some Asian trash. I don't want to live next to anybody who's full of trash. I want to live next to people who are civilized. So, look, I get it. You can accuse me of, I don't even care what you accuse me of. You can accuse me of whatever you want. But here's what you better know. I don't want to live next to people that don't take care of their stuff. I don't want to live next to people who don't care about your stuff, that don't have some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? A moral core in terms of how they treat their neighbors, how they treat their family, how they treat themselves. I want people to have self-respect. Yeah, and that's such a high standard, right? The reason why we move into exclusive neighborhoods is because of housing associations that say, you can't have your car up on blocks. You can't paint your house 50 different colors. You can't raise chickens. You can't have 100 cats and 30 dogs and so on and so forth. I don't want to live next to any of those fools either. I don't care what color you are. I don't care. You could be kinfolk. I got kin people I don't want to live next to. I don't even want to visit. If they say, come on over and you can stay here, that's okay. I got a little hotel room right up the road. See you at the barbecue. Talk to me about what I like. Hey, deportations are up 28%. It's about time, isn't it? You know what? Democrats are scared people. They spent over a year spinning conspiracies about Russians and the Republicans, all because they needed an excuse for losing. The losers. And as these lies unravel one by one, leftists are starting to fear retaliation from voters. And I've been talking about this for months. I told you guys, I said Maxine Waters is going to feel the wrath of her voters in the next election. Don't be surprised if she gets a challenger that beats her. Oh, I said it. Y'all are like, oh, Kevin, that's big talk for a black man on the radio. I'm telling you, she's at risk. Politico said this: Democrats are increasingly conflicted about how forcefully to press the issue of possible collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians. Hey, Politico, it's a little late. They've been pressing this narrative for quite some time. The article continues, fearful of alienating voters who appear more concerned about the economy and health care, Democrats campaigning in districts across the country are de-emphasizing Russia in their rhetoric, and some are warning that a persistent focus on Russia could backfire. What have we been saying? See, here's the thing that I don't think the leftists that listen to us, to my program and others, I don't think they understand. We don't try to hide the truth from them. We're not telling you something to make you think differently. We give you the real skinny. We're not, trying to, let's say this and then everybody will start to do it. See, the left is used to doing that. These misinformation campaigns. They're used to that. Well, get over it. Bill Burton, a Democratic consultant, says people, aka Democrats, think the Russia stuff is important, but they're mostly sick of hearing about it. They want to hear politicians talk about things that are more directly important in their lives. And the Democrats can't say that they weren't warned, because I warned them. I warned them when the Fusion GPS story surfaced. From the moment the Democrats set the Trump colluded with the Russians narratives, I warned them. I told them, I said, Democrats tell you what they're doing by accusing others. And I knew when somebody opened their mouths that there was apparently something wrong with the Democrats, not with the Republicans in Russia. From the very beginning, all the top Democrats knew they were colluding with the Russians. They knew this. They tried to set a trap for then candidate Trump, but it failed for one reason. It failed because they underestimated Trump. Now, I've also argued that the Democrats overestimated themselves. Now, you can make that 1A and B or whatever, but overestimating yourself tends to mean you've underestimated your opponent. The Democrats certainly believed the media juggernaut was going to get them over any potential hump, any harm, should their ruse about Russia be uncovered. But they didn't count on the media being marginalized. We talked about this. They didn't count on Donald Trump's ability to make the media meaningless, worthless to the public. But they did not also count on your unwavering support. I want you to think about this for a second. Give me another candidate and tell me that candidate could have instilled in you the thing that said, I'm going to support that Ted Cruz to the end. I'm going to support that Rand Paul, that Carly Fiorina, that Ben Carson or whatever to the end. If we were talking about anybody other than Trump, there could be defections. Now, if they performed like Donald Trump, I think that candidate would be doing very, very well. But I don't think we have anybody that would have performed to that level. I think many of you agree with me. So even though they overestimated themselves, they believed the media would be that ace in the hole. And during the hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee, the head of Hermitage Capital Management, a guy by the name of William Browder, testified that the pro-Democrat consulting firm Fusion GPS has deep ties to the Kremlin. Now remember, the Democrats didn't want to turn over their computers to the Justice Department after accusing the Russians of hacking them. Now I want you to think about that. You've got the proof. You're like, okay, look, we got hacked. How do I know? I can tell. It's on my computer. Can we have your computer or the data? Nope. So that was another red flag. So the other thing you could think about is none of the scoundrels want to testify. They've been asking Susan Wright, I recuse myself. I don't want to appear, and on and on. Schiff had 12 people that said they didn't want to appear. Supposedly on the biggest scandal in our political history, nobody wants to appear. It's because Adam Schiff's been caught in a lie, folks. He's been caught in a scam. Democrats claim they want to know what happened in Russia, at least where Trump is involved, which is nowhere. But Schiff wouldn't allow certain witnesses to testify before his committee. When asked for a reason, he didn't even answer the question. About a dozen witnesses were scheduled to testify, and they got canceled by the Democrats. They were told the committee needed more time to prepare. More likely, they needed more time to evade the truth. Even California is starting to get nervous, folks. Could California actually be in play for the Republicans? You know, this is the most critical state for the Democrats. No California, no control of the House, no control of Congress at all, no control of anything. Can you imagine if we flipped California? Derry Srago, a Democratic strategist whose California target book handicaps races in California call Russia a distraction, said that the Democrats are going to be in deep, deep trouble if they don't start talking about what voters care about. We need to talk about what people think about when they wake up in the morning, and it's not Russia, Srago said. The more we talk about stuff that voters don't truly care about in their daily lives, it confirms that the Democrat Party's brain has been eaten by the elites in Washington who have been sitting fat and happy for a lot of years while working Americans have lost their jobs, lost confidence in the future, etc. That's as scathing as it gets, and that's from a Democrat. The Russian story is a bust, but leftists go ahead. They keep talking about it because it pushes more people to the right. A Harvard-Harris poll reported that 2/3 of voters believe all the Russian crap is hurting the country and they're sick of it. Now, all this being said, folks, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to convince these guys to stop. I hope they keep it up. Mueller's out there looking for, grand juries or whatever. Keep it going, because as it expands, it is going to be bad news for the left. I know it sounds like a broken record, but I'm telling you, we're in the driver's seat on this, and I want to stay there. Anyway, I got to leave it there.